Hi guys, I'm Stephanie Hansen and we are going to make something with you today that is going to be super fun. We are getting to the end of rhubarb season and I have made some rhubarb rough jam that I'm going to use in a cookie. So to start, I made this rhubarb rough jam. I had for this recipe 2 cups of rhubarb, and then I had 1/3 cup of sugar, and I put it in a medium saucepan. I cut the rhubarb into about 1/4 inch chunks, and I cooked it down for about 5 minutes, and the rhubarb got jammy, and then I put it in the refrigerator overnight. So our rhubarb is set up there. I have about a cup, and I'm really only going to use about 1/3 cup for this recipe, but I'll just have some extra jam, right? So then I took 2 sticks of butter and I let them sit out overnight at room temperature, and I'm just going to stir them into my sugar here. This is a cookie that I'm going to do all by hand just because I'm going to let it set up overnight so the cookie balls are at the perfect temperature for baking so they'll spread evenly. Okay, I'm going to just move some things around here so I can get a little muscle going. So I'm just getting my butter and my sugar creamed in here. Then I'm going to add 2 eggs that I'm going to beat with a fork or a whisk and add those. So let's just add our 2 eggs. Quick tip, when cracking eggs, you should always crack on a flat surface. I did not learn that until very late in the game, but you get a better cracking situation and less shells. All right, so I've got 2 large eggs. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and I'm just gonna whisk these. From there, I will go in with my dry ingredients, and I have 2.5 cups of flour. I have a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, and I'm gonna add about 1/2 teaspoon of this super delicious ground cinnamon. It's made in Minneapolis at Here's the Deal Spice Company. And I don't know what they do. I think they roast it themselves. It is like the best cinnamon flavor. Okay, so we've got our egg fully mixed in here with the vanilla. I'm gonna just put a little bit of our cinnamon in here. Okay, that looks delicious. And I'm gonna add my eggs to my butter and sugar mixture. Get that all combined. It's gonna be a little lumpy and curdly looking. That's normal. All right, give it a good mix. It's harder to make cookies with your muscles. Wah. Okay, so then I'm going to add, I've got the baking soda and the salt. I've got the cinnamon. I'm gonna go ahead and start whisking this in to my butter, sugar, egg mixture, and trying not to lose flour, just like I do in a mixer. Honestly, I'm like the worst at making a kitchen mess. Just give myself a little room here. I can really get a nice feel for the dough by mixing it by hand. And then I'm gonna go ahead and mix in the preserves and then make my cookie balls and let them set up. I have 2 rhubarb cookie recipes already on my site. One is like a pumpkin cookie consistency where it's kind of puffy and soft, and it's really nice. It uses a It's nice and it's soft and kind of has like an oatmeal cookie kind of puffiness to it. And then the other cookie is more like a real sugar cookie, which is thinner, butterier, and has literally small diced chunks of the rhubarb in it that give it kind of this tart, yummy flavor. So this will be my third rhubarb cookie recipe. And I've got all my dry ingredients in here now. So I'll get everything going. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and plop in my preserves. Now, once I get those preserves in there, I do not want to overmix because I don't want them to be too mixed in. I want them to have ribbons of preserves, not be fully incorporated in the dough so you can see the preserves. Okay. So I think I'm at the point where I can start to drop some of the preserves in. All right, I'm gonna use a spatula and I'm gonna drop the preserves in. I need about 1/3 cup, and I'm gonna drop them in by tablespoons. This is a teaspoon, but it's heaping. You can kind of get the gist here. And then I'm going to go in with my spatula and just fold so that I can get some of the big jam ribbons through here without incorporating it too much into the dough. I think I've got 1 more, 2 more, 3 more plops. All right, now from here, I'm gonna go ahead and make my cookie scoops. I'm gonna use a generous scoop to make this ball. And again, I wanna see the ribbons of the dough. That looks great. See how we can really see the jam in there? And I'm gonna freeze these so I can put them all together here and then parcel them out when I bake. You should get about 18 cookies. And trying to get them all about the same size. I love the way that these ribbons of jam are looking in these balls. They look so nice. When I cook these, I'll be using about 6 cookies to a tray, 6 to 8. Okay, I think I can get 1 more out. But man, the jam smells so good. I love this coloring. This one. Okay. Really just looks gorgeous. Do we have any there kind of small? This one's a little smaller. That one. Okay. So I think that gives us about 22 cookies. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna go ahead and freeze these. Okay, friends, the rhubarb jam cookies have been setting up in the freezer. So I've got frozen dough balls, and I'm gonna put them on a cookie sheet and start baking them at 350 from frozen, and they're gonna take about 16 to 18 minutes. These are big cookies. So I'm gonna go 6 at a time, at 350. This is what they look like. And I will show you what they look like when they are done. Make sure you go to stephaniesdish.com for the recipe. I have other rhubarb recipes too. I have a rhubarb cobbler. I have a rhubarb coffee cake. I have rhubarb shrub, jam, custard tart. Rhubarb custard bars is my #1 recipe on my whole site. So there you go. Check it out. Make these rhubarb jam cookies and watch my show Taste Buds. It is on YouTube and also on a lot of stations around the country. I think at last count we were at 72 stations. So check that out wherever you stream your TV. You can also find it on Tubi, YouTube, and you can watch it and follow it on social at tastebudswithstephanie.com. Okay. So our first batch of rhubarb jam cookies is done. I'm gonna do the smush technique that my friend Sarah Kiefer showed me. I'm just gonna press down on the cookies just to get them a little flatter and a little more chewy on the inside, but still crispy on the outside. Just flattens them out a little bit. Ooh, those look delightful. I cannot wait to try them. I'm gonna rinse off my spatula here and get ready for the next batch. Look at that. I cooked them for 18 minutes, but I took them right literally out of the freezer where they had set up. So you can see they look delightful. All right, we'll get on to the next batch. You can find this recipe and other rhubarb recipes, remember, at stephaniesdish.com. They look real good. I'm gonna go ahead and put them on a platter and get the next batch going. Enjoy your rhubarb season. It's short but mighty.